Welcome back to the Pro Sports Podcasters on YouTube. My name is Cordarrelle. People know me as Kobe from the podcast, and today I'm going over my NFL All Day Top 8 Under the Radar Rares. These are rares that can factor into challenges at some point, and they're also just phenomenal players in some cases that really are getting overlooked for whatever reason. I have no idea. And I don't have these in a particular order. It's just my top 8 altogether. It doesn't go from 1 to 8 or 8 to 1. These are just the ones that I'm noticing that really should be at a higher value, and they're just getting completely overlooked at this point. And I'm going to begin with Shaquille Barrett. And I've mentioned Shaquille Barrett in a number of different videos already. Shaquille Barrett is a sack specialist. Okay? That's what he is. That's what he does. He does it so well, in fact, that in 2019, he led the league in sacks with 19.5 sacks. And he had 10 sacks last year, which would be considered a down year for him, but still a great year for practically anyone else. So I like Shaquille Barrett to kind of bounce back this year. He had gotten injured in 2020, right? He dealt with some ongoing injuries, nothing that would keep him out, but things that could slow him down. I don't see that being the case this year. I think he's going to come back at 100%. And as a result of that, don't be surprised if you see double-digit sacks again. So if there's going to be a sack challenge, this is someone you want in your list, and he's like significantly undervalued. He's way below the $50 mark, which is just insane at this point. So I like Shaquille Barrett. Plus, Tampa Bay Buccaneer. I know there's a lot of Tampa Bay Buccaneers fans out there because of the Brady bandwagon jumpers, so there you go. He's going to have additional value just as a result of that. Second, I've got Cordarrelle Patterson. And again, this is a name I've mentioned a couple of times. But what I love about Cordarrelle Patterson is that he's kind of a dual threat, right? Like, I mean, NFL All Day recognizes that because right now you can get a common Cordarrelle Patterson where he's listed as a running back and a rare Cordarrelle Patterson, which is what I'm talking about, where he's listed as a wide receiver. I believe he's the only player, period, on NFL Day that's been listed at 2 different positions with 2 different moments. So that alone is special. I've got both just because that could be a thing at some point, right? But more importantly, is Cordarrelle Patterson is just a playmaker. He's always been a playmaker. He's a 4-time Pro Bowler, both a dynamic rusher and receiver. This year, I expect him to be used as a receiver more because Atlanta went ahead and, drafted a running back in the draft because they realized they had a need there. So he can go back to his more natural position, which is wide receiver. And with a lack of playmakers on that team, on a team that's going to be trailing quite often, Cordarrelle Patterson's going to get a lot of looks, a lot of opportunities, and utilized in a lot of different ways. So I love Cordarrelle Patterson, and he's like way undervalued right now. Then I got Jacobi Meyers, and again, another name I've mentioned before, and it's because Jacobi Meyers is Mac Jones' favorite target. In fact, he had 51 more targets than the next closest receiver in 2021. And the next closest receiver was Hunter Henry. Okay, it wasn't even a wide receiver, it was a tight end. Right? So 51 more targets than the next closest receiver, which was Hunter Henry, and 56 more targets than the next closest actual wide receiver, which was Kendrick Bourne. Right? So he is Mac Jones' safety net, and that team has not improved much this offseason, so he's going to have to rely on him again, and don't be surprised if Jacobi Meyers factors into receptions challenges sometime this particular season. He's going way undervalued because nobody cares that much about any of the New England wide receivers at this point, so he gets overlooked. And that's actually why. Then I've got Darius Leonard. And Darius Leonard may not be the cheapest moment on this list, but he's by far one of the best moments on this list. Darius Leonard could very well be the best linebacker in football right now. It's debatable, but I don't know of many linebackers that can do what he does all around. You have linebackers that are great at getting to the quarterback. You have linebackers that are great at dropping into coverage. You have linebackers that just rack up tackles. Darius Leonard does it all. He can get to the quarterback when asked to. He can drop into coverage. He had something like 4 interceptions last year. He racks up the tackles. He was actually the NFL tackle leader in his rookie season. That's how good he was coming into the league. Darius Leonard's legit. And I've seen his moments up over the $100 level. Right now, they're somewhere in around, say, the $80 level, I think. So Darius Leonard right now is a steal, right? So get yourself a Darius Leonard if you don't have him in your collection yet. Then I got Travis Kelce, and I've actually got 2 tight ends here. I got Travis Kelce, and I've got Mark Andrews. And I don't know what it is. Okay. Mark Andrews, I kind of understand, right? Mark Andrews is an under the radar, really good tight end, one of the top tight ends in the league. And last year he went over 1,300 yards with over 100 receptions because he's really Lamar Jackson's top target. And they went ahead and they traded Marquise Brown and they didn't replace him, which means they're expecting to get even more out of Mark Andrews, and they're going to bump up probably Rashad Bateman as a go-to receiver this particular year. But I expect just as much opportunity for Mark Andrews, if not more, this particular season. When he went over 100 and 1,300 last year, you got to expect that or even better. So Mark Andrews is a steal right now. And then Travis Kelce is the number one tight end in football, period. 6 straight years of over 1,000 yards. 6 straight years, right? Over 1,000 yards. He is Patrick Mahomes' number one target. They went ahead and got rid of Tyreek Hill, which makes it even more important in those scramble situations that Mahomes is kind of like famous for, right? When it becomes backyard football. Kelce knows what to do. Kelce is his most reliable target. Kelce's going to get used a lot this season. And still, for whatever reason, his rare is not that high in value. Doesn't make sense to me, but that's just the case. Then I've got Nick Bosa. And Nick Bosa, for the similar reasons that I've got Shaquille Barrett on this list, Nick Bosa had 15.5 sacks last year, and people probably wouldn't even know that, right? Nick Bosa is a sack machine. He's on a very good defense with the 49ers. He should be 100% healthy this season. And that division has gotten weaker, right? The NFC West it's lost Russell. Kyler's not happy. I don't know, man. He's going to have opportunities. So I really like Nick Bosa. And again, he's somewhere in around that $60-something range. Doesn't make any sense to me. One of the top pass rushers in the league by far. Get yourself a Nick Bosa. And then last on the list is CeeDee Lamb. And I believe at this point, right now, he may be the most expensive moment on the list, but he's still $80-something last I checked. He had over 1,100 yards and 6 touchdowns last year, and that's with Amari Cooper on the opposite side, right? Amari Cooper had something like 8 touchdowns last year, so some of that's going to start going CeeDee's way. I like him for touchdowns. I like him for receptions. I like him for yardage. He's by far the number one wide receiver on the Cowboys right now, which is a throw first, throw often offense. He should be over $100, but he's not. And he'll get over $100, can practically guarantee you that. So right now, if you're buying him at 80-something, it's a steal, right? It's undervalued. And that's what you're looking for. When you're buying moments now, right? I think a lot of you, especially the ones that follow me on YouTube, you have pretty sizable collections. Some of you I've talked to, I've seen your collections. You've got significantly sizable collections. You're up there with me. Some of you have more than I have, and I have a hell of a lot. So at this point, if you're buying moments, you're buying to complete maybe specific subsets, or you're buying for value, right? You're buying because you think these moments are going to be worth something greater in the near future, whether that be because of challenges, whether that be because of team sets, whether it be because of players just primed to break out. Well, these players fit all that criteria. They fit it all. So get these players on your rosters, right? Get them in your collections. Right now, they're just undervalued, underpriced. Hop on the marketplace, make a few purchases. Until next time.